Hello there, Gia.
Hi, Keisha. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. And we have our special guest, Adam Belanoff, here tonight. Hi, Adam.
Hey, Gia and Keisha. Great to be here today. Great to be here.
Thank you
Great to
for
be
coming back.
my pleasure.
You look thin. Are you eating enough, Adam?
It's been a tough week. I think I have been eating okay, but now that you mention it, our refrigerator died in the middle of last week, and
Huh.
one of the incidents. I have so many incidents to talk about
Yeah.
from this past week, but one of
Okay.
them got on the phone with our handyman, who, this guy sort of drops in and out of our world every, 6 months or a year. And he's literally like Larry, Daryl, and Daryl from the New
Uh
York
huh.
show. This is, I guess,
Yeah.
probably typical for a handyman. So he literally like had me on the floor, like checking the coils underneath the refrigerator for dust. And I put my hand through a grate and I literally could
Uh
not get it out. Could not pull my hand. Like it was sort of shaped in a way that I stuck it in, and I literally couldn't just physically. I
huh.
just couldn't get it out. So he thought that was hilarious. And when I have the phone on the floor and I'm lying flat on the ground, and he says, "Can you get some butter?" And I literally like opened the refrigerator door above me and pulled out the closest thing, which was a mayonnaise spread, which
Uh,
I with my left hand. Now I could slide my hand around, but it still would not come out. And so I said, like, can you might have to come and help me out. And then I really, he's half an hour away and plus the
oh God.
$200. So I'm thinking I literally may have to call 911 to come and saw me out. I mean, I'm sure, like, seriously. And then I literally thought of the guy who cut off his own arm to
Yeah.
get out of the crevice. And I thought, like, if that guy could do it, like, like, I don't know what's going to come off, like skin but I'm like literally, and I ripped my hand out. The blood blister is no longer visible. Fortunately, that is healed,
Hmm.
but I can probably pull that up for if you're curious. And so anyway, that was the middle of last week, and then
Oh.
the same day the pool sprung a leak. We were on the
Ah.
coastal side, and so that kind of thing happens. I had yeah. Let's see. I don't know if you can see this with the but but anyway, that's
That is a
that
blood blister, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
yeah,
Yeah.
so
gross.
I got my hand out. That was actually a joyous moment. So, $1,500 later, the pool is actually not repaired. That's what it's going to be between the $250 first inspection and the $1,300 to patch the big crack that formed. So we got that going. And then can I go tell you what happened next?
This is a safe space. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing that happened, I was a juror on a murder trial last October. Did I mention that? Well, and so here's the actual thing, because this is important to the story. I was the alternate. There were two alternates. They chose the other one to put on the jury when one of the jurors got sick, and so I remained an alternate, or as I refer to myself as the James Marsden of the jury. And that only makes sense if you saw Jury Duty, which if you haven't seen, you really have to watch. It's
I've
on
heard that's great. Yeah, it's on Prime, right?
it's hilarious, and you'll understand the
Uh-huh.
reference when you watch
Uh-huh.
it. But I really do want to you know, push it on you. It's better. It's as good as Godzilla minus one is. Um, Jury Duty, I promise.
It's only as good as Godzilla minus one.
I would say in its. I mean, it's obviously we're talking, apples and oranges, but it's quite exceptional. But then I got this letter last Friday from the Superior Court of Los Angeles
Uh-huh.
informing me that a petition was made to release juror identifying information, and a hearing has been set. And so basically, what it says is that you have the right to object to the disclosure of personal identifying information to the convicted gang murderer.
God.
And that information is your name, last known address, and telephone number. So, needless to say, this was the pinnacle of a challenging week. And
Yeah.
one of the fortunate things I can say is that working for 13 years on a murder show, I know many people in and around the LA court system. And so
Ah.
our homicide detective on the closer, wonderful guy named Mike Burcham, suggested that I talk to a DA that he knows. And I left this guy a message, and by the time he called back yesterday, there had been a development, which was I'd sent a certified letter to the judge saying that I expected to be in New York during the hearing, and I called left a message saying I'd be happy to testify um, by Zoom to keep
Mm-hmm.
my information private. And then I got a call from Juror Services saying that I actually received this letter in error because, as an alternate,
Uh-huh.
uh, I should not have gotten it. But it just makes me think that, like, it's like no good deed goes unpunished.
Oh,
Um,
that's the
but
words I live by. Yeah.
yeah, but I just don't think that I would ever serve on a California jury again when there's no guarantee that
Uh-huh.
and no guarantee of anonymity. So
Uh-huh.
anyway, that's been last week. We just got our new refrigerator today, and it's gorgeous. I would be honored to get my hand stuck under this one. Uh, so
Be
nice.
careful what you wish for.
Yeah, I know. Well, believe me, I am not going to probe any household appliances with fingers or anything else anytime
I think
soon.
that's
Soon as a
always
problem.
wise.
Yeah, I think it's good to pay somebody to do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I we did get a mini fridge in the meantime. So
Uh-huh.
rather than the usual vittles, it's been a very limited of diet. So getting back to the original question of my being thinner, I will say that I have, by necessity, eaten less
Uh-huh.
of the things I tend to enjoy,
I
which would be
see.
refrigerator.
Yeah, mini fridges suck as far as storing ice cream.
Oh, there is no room for ice cream in this. We barely have any
No.
coffee cubes, but we do have milk for the coffee, which is, to me, where life begins, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
sure.
that was surely one of the hardest things was dealing with no milk for my coffee, but
Uh-huh.
at least that's been okay. And we've got a fridge.
Excellent.
It's like life
Congratulations.
without a fridge is just like it's like camping out. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like you're really in life. So
It doesn't. I know it's amazing how quickly you can be brought to your knees.
I
My
know.
my
Well,
power was shut out off a couple days ago,
sorry.
and that happens around here for, just like a strong wind sometimes will take out the power in a neighborhood. So I was assuming that's what it was, even though I knew I owed the power company like
Oh,
$1,300.
oh goodness, goodness. Did we get that straightened out? Yeah.
After two calls, the first call didn't go very well, so I tried again and got a nicer person. But turns
Well,
out, you have to address your bill regularly, I guess.
yeah. Well, I mean, I should
The
have thought you're not
adulting.
on the battery. This is happening live using electricity. So obviously you need to be
Yeah,
careful. Very
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, challenging times being grown ups. And Gia's husband was on a murder trial jury recently
Yeah,
himself.
and he said, we've all grown up watching all these cop shows and we think criminals are all masterminds, and
Yeah,
Uh,
he said the truth is they're really, really stupid.
yeah.
yeah.
No, I definitely know that from my experience on the closure of major crimes. They really are.
Mm.
Exactly. They're really the Columbo type murderers only exist on Columbo.
Yeah,
Most
few
of them
few
Yeah.
and
are
far
idiots.
between.
I mean,
Yeah.
like for me, the most convincing piece of evidence in the trial of this murder was the video of him shooting his victim in the face.
Wow.
And so, I mean, I actually there were some, lessons from the trial. One was that if you ever had any doubt that you are not being tracked at all times, you can give that up because between your phone and video cameras absolutely everywhere, you know,
Hmm.
Big Brother has your number. So
Well,
yeah.
on that topic, Adam, one of the former stars of General Hospital, as you probably heard, was killed when three guys
Uh,
were trying to
that
get
was
something.
horrific. That
Yeah.
story, just terrible. And it's sad to say, but that's LA.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, I guess whatever area he was in and where he worked, they didn't have that sort of camera presence, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, certainly where his car was parked, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it turned out that, for example, a friend, Jeff Melvine, writer, he had the victim had taught his kids swimming, and so he
Huh.
knew him personally from
Wow.
that. Says that he was a wonderful, wonderful guy. I mean, he's like a working actor, which means to say
Yeah.
that he had a lot of time not working as an actor and doing
Right.
jobs that he
Right.
did. So, but he was very well
Yeah.
liked, and such a
Yeah.
sad story. Just
Yeah.
horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Real shame. Such a stupid thing.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
don't think they've caught the people that did it, right?
No, I don't think so.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's
Well,
terrible.
I will say the detectives are really pretty good, and if there is a reward, as I imagine that there should be,
Yeah.
will be, that
Yeah.
they have a good chance of shaking things loose. But
Hmm.
it's just tragedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, what are you going to do to turn the mood around since you like brought me here?
Okay. Well, we brought you here with the idea that maybe we could talk about maybe some of our TV and movie recommendations, which I guess brings us back to Godzilla minus one, which
Yeah,
you encouraged me to watch,
I did.
right?
I almost forced you to watch it. I think you would have felt ashamed had you not given the 2 hours to watch it.
That's right. Yeah, and 2 hours is right. It was a little over 2 hours,
A little
and
over 2 hours, and those are 2 hours that without my twisting the arm you would never have spent in a million years. Which is one of the
ever.
reasons why I said you should watch this because I'm getting you out of your comfort zone. Okay,
I love
so
I love people who get me out of my comfort zone. It's like, do I know I seem comfortable? I'm never comfortable.
all right, well, so if you actually liked it, and when you haven't said if you did or didn't, it would
I have
be
not.
for me.
No,
You did not like it. Okay, well, tell us why you did not
no, I
like it.
haven't said.
Okay, you didn't. You certainly didn't say. All right. So honestly, what did you think?
Um, I thought it could have been funnier.
There was not a lot of laughs in Godzilla minus one. I will agree with that.
No, no, and let's see. I thought it would have been interesting if Godzilla had made an appearance like in the first 10 minutes, and then that would have been it.
And no more Godzilla.
No more Godzilla. Yeah, I
Well,
saw I would have done some things
I will
differently.
concede that for a Godzilla movie, Godzilla was sparingly used.
I suppose that's true. And I don't think I ever gravitated towards those types of scary movies.
Yeah.
I liked more of like the psychological thriller. What's that, Gia?
Well, it's just been my experience that you hate scary movies altogether. Like, I think the
Yeah.
last movie
Right.
you and I saw together was Silence of the Lambs, and you never forgave me. Like
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
so I
But
didn't know you
Yeah.
liked any.
as a a media consumer who has seen some horror movies,
Yeah.
where would you say this ranks among the horror movies that you've seen?
Okay. Well, I guess, it did mostly keep my interest. It's funny you
That
get
should be the plug line. That should be what you pull out for your for the one sheet. Mostly kept my interest.
I know that is high praise these days, isn't it?
Well, mostly kept
I,
my interest. Okay, there you go.
yeah. I didn't start looking at my phone till like the second hour.
Okay, there you go. Fair enough. Fair enough. And by the way, you didn't watch the dub version. You watched it with subtitles, right?
Well, I always have subtitles on, but I did listen to it with English actors, and I kind of thought I wish I hadn't.
Yeah,
Um,
half a performance, when you with
yeah.
English actors, you're just not getting the real voices. But okay,
No.
no,
No.
I will not dock your viewing for that. Although
Okay.
I did not specify, but okay, all right.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you made me watch it, because I feel like I'm a little closer to part of humanity that I otherwise wouldn't have anything to talk about with, maybe.
Okay, all right. That's again, qualified, but all right, I get it. I mean, look, it was the last movie that I saw when we had connected, and I was very surprised that,
Uh-huh.
a movie called Godzilla minus one could score anything on the critical scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me,
Hmm.
and actually, and the love story. Okay, tell me, were you not moved at all by the ending? And maybe if people are listening have not seen it,
Yeah.
could
Spoiler alert, I guess.
find it a move? Did you find it okay? Little, maybe a little a stretch in a movie where a giant monster is, roaming in Japan.
Hmm.
But did you not find the final revelation affecting?
Well, I should probably remind you that I am dead inside.
Yeah,
Um,
okay. I mean, okay, like the Grinch, that tiny turtle
kind of, yeah, yeah.
high rises.
That's right. Yeah. I was happy that it was, sort of your storybook
Okay,
ending.
spoil it. Spoil it. Yes, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. So I suppose, yeah, I did enjoy the happy ending. I also was sort of thinking that as Godzilla was making his or her way through Japan, he didn't really eat anybody, right? He just threw them with his mouth.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice. That was an interesting directorial choice because in previous movies, I think that was a big part. It was like, eating them
He
and
would eat the people?
spit out clothes and stuff, like because it was part of the appeal. But
Yeah.
really, all right. But isn't it interesting that a guy who refuses to become a kamikaze, then when he
Yeah.
goes through this transformation where he's prepared to be a kamikaze and
Yeah.
regains his honor? That was a story.
It
That was
was it really did have some layers, and I thought Godzilla is a bit of a metaphor for all
yes.
kinds of things. So, sure, you could probably build a college course around it,
Yeah,
these
I
days.
would take that course. I would take that course for sure.
You could teach the course, Adam.
That is even possible. It could certainly.
Yeah.
I'd be teach if I was back at USC. I would be talking about this. More
Yeah.
kids, I guarantee you, would be telling me how much they loved it because that was my biggest problem at USC. I just couldn't believe how much people loved like Marvel movies, and it was just driving me
Uh-huh.
nuts. Just because I would say I am constitutionally unable to watch more than one Marvel movie a year, and I said
Uh-huh.
that in my first class, and I lost that class. They literally could not respect me at all after that. I was like, and I was being generous. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I think a year with no Marvel movie for me is a good year.
Yeah.
Really, I
Yeah.
can't. And so I
I
may
don't
end
know.
up
I don't think
seeing,
I've ever seen a Marvel movie.
well, you know,
Yeah. I'm not sure I have, at least not on purpose. Maybe I was like asleep with one on or something.
Yeah.
yeah, they're out there, and believe me, there's always more. So you have to
Yeah, I gather. Um,
anyway.
well, you know what Gia saw recently, which you'll find interesting, and I don't think anybody forced you to watch it, did they, Gia?
No, I was interested because I'm a little younger than you, so it was
She's
on
not that much
Netflix,
younger.
and it's is it called Bratz? I think it's just called Bratz on Hulu.
Oh, I have a story with Bratz, which
Okay.
is a little bit of a story. Well, my daughter's best friend is John Cryer's son, and so they flew out. The whole family and my daughter flew out to see the premiere at Tribeca of Bratz, and my daughter was really hoping she was going to get a photo with Molly Ringwald, who did not
Yeah.
show up and was not in the
Yeah,
movie. But
yeah.
she did rub elbows with Ali Sheedy and Demi Moore, and so it was pretty thrilling, even so.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
that's very
So
cool. That's very cool.
yeah,
I like
so that was
Ellie.
that. And I've seen it too. It was, good movie, good, good, very good.
It's not qualified.
I
That's
mean, it's like as documentaries, which have gotten as a genre so tight. I think really, it's very I wouldn't meandering isn't the right word. It's just that he did not. Andrew McCarthy's a very talented guy, talented actor, smart guy, good writer. Showed up at all of these various places, to see the various, Emilio Estevez and Demi Moore, with no agenda, which I guess is good. He sort of wanted to just have conversations, and so the questions and responses, including his, are not that focused. It's really just
Mhm.
sort of hanging out with these various people, and he kind of comes around to some big issues like, did you think this hurt you, or the Brat Pack label and stuff. Anyway, it's enjoyable to see where all these people are all these years later, and to watch them connect. And it was you know what it was good. It was enjoyable. I mean, real some very very strong
Exactly.
overall. It was entertaining.
It was it was I texted with a high school girlfriend of mine who, so we saw all those silly movies back in the day, but we saw them. I think we saw them ironically, because we thought we were too cool to be, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
enjoying Pretty in Pink or whatever. I do
Mhm.
remember, like, I don't think I thought St. Elmo's Fire was watchable even back then. I don't know
Yeah,
what,
that was a tough one.
um,
So
but
much angst.
yeah, we both felt that the documentary was just so sad for Andrew McCarthy. I thought it was almost like just a revealing. It was like more about him than about anything else, and how he kind of let this label
Yeah. I mean,
really
every
take a huge chunk out of his life. He was renting a lot of space in his head,
yeah,
apparently.
Mhm.
no, I would say that's absolutely true. And the people who transcended it, who probably were just indifferent to it, like Rob Lowe and
Yeah,
Demi
Mhm.
Moore,
yeah.
and
Rob Lowe,
like it was
yeah,
barely a
Rob
blip.
Lowe strikes me as like somebody that'll do whatever the hell it takes. He's like I'm like, I'm sending
Anything.
actions, I'm doing whatever,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he doesn't
He's a bit of a
care.
whore.
Little bit of a whore, and I admire that. Like a gig's a gig, and
Uh-huh.
It
Demi Moore. It was interesting the ones that sort of, and you're like, oh yeah, I guess they were in it, and then when you realize like, oh, but they kind of, but he just seemed. I thought it was really affecting when he interviewed the author whose name I forget of
David
the.
Blum, yeah, who oddly I can't say I know him well, but here's an odd sort of coincidence. His wife, who's a TV writer, although I'm not sure what she's done very recently, Terry Minsky is her name. Anyway, she was the niece of Norman Steinberg, a good friend of mine who ran Cosby's, sadly passed away. But during the run of Cosby, Norman said, my nephew-in-law would like to write an episode. Would you help guide him through it? And so we met a bunch of times. It was a perfectly fine episode. As fine as they were on this pretty terrible show with the world's funniest serial rapist. Anyway, uh, but I never made the connection. Well, why would I? And I had read that article when it first came out. Anyway, that he was the guy who coined the phrase, and I generally
Mhm.
thought it came off pretty well. Although I
Mhm.
think my daughter disagreed. I think she'd seen it, as I mentioned, in Tribeca, and she felt like he did not um, take enough responsibility. And I thought he was right. It's like sticks and stones. I mean, it's like, yeah, I could have said some things better. And yeah, there were a
Mhm.
couple of things that I wouldn't have said. But, I mean, I think what it really pointed out was that, like, Andrew McCarthy has hung on to this in a way that
Yeah,
Mhm.
nobody else has, which is why there's a movie, which like, maybe that's a good thing. There wouldn't be a movie and you wouldn't get to see these people in their natural state.
yeah. I mean,
If
he
not.
seemed incredulous that the author was not, more. The author was kind of like, meh,
Yeah, yeah, that
and
he wasn't
Andrew
right.
McCarthy seemed like his head was gonna pop off. He was like,
Mhm.
Right, I
I've let
know.
this thing ruin my life, and
Huh.
He really gives him McCarthy gives David Blum every opportunity to say that David Blum had been wrong to do this, and that he should,
Hmm.
and like he's just not, he just didn't take the bait. And he also appeared at Tribeca, David Blum, on the panel, and I don't know what was said, if anything additional that was of value was said there, but I tend to take David Blum's position in that, look, came up with a phrase that, as Malcolm Gladwell said, like became part of the zeitgeist because it was so appropriate.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
mean, it's like he picked a phrase that everybody said, yeah, that really kind of does describe him. Yeah, truthfully, it is, pejorative and dismissive, condescending, all of those things. But as
Rat Pack isn't really any less pejorative, you
Rat
know.
Pack,
Well, but
yeah,
Rat
exactly.
Pack, you
can you
know.
Yeah,
imagine those Rat Pack guys giving a rat's ass what
Yeah,
anybody thinks of them? I mean,
you
that's the
know.
that
difference.
could
Like,
not care. I mean, I don't know if they ever. I'd be curious to know if they ever used it to describe themselves. I bet not. But
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra was not going to make a movie about how his feelings were hurt. So
right, that's what I mean. Is
Yeah.
that, yeah,
he
yeah.
had to
Yeah.
live it
So,
down for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Nor,
Yeah.
nor I'm sure would Sammy Davis or any of the other guys, Peter Lorre.
but
Mhm.
I guess a little bit of a takeaway is, you think you're admiring all these stars, and you think, oh my God, can't they must live these glamorous lives, and it's like, well, God, this guy's been harboring this sadness, resentment, all these years, and still like wound up about it. I hope he's gotten some help since he put this.
Yeah, well, it really sounds like it really stopped him. And look, there was, Emilio Estevez says there was a project that was that Emilio Estevez turned down or backed out of because of the Brad Pack
Associated,
break.
yeah,
Yeah, there
yep.
was a movie ready to go, and Emilio Estevez, who had some real heat at the time, did not want to be associated with another Brat Pack movie. So, that's a tangible downside, But again, it's like a letting a bad review
Yeah.
soar for 30
I know
years.
we don't hold on to that stuff like
Right?
rock stars.
I know
Yeah.
we've got one person who gave us just one star, but we're fine. We're fine with that, We hardly ever
We don't
mention
bring it
it.
up. We don't bring it up every episode.
I
Oh,
hope it was more. I mean, I hope they at least gave you more than 1 star and described, like in comic detail, what they found so wanting about your
they
comic.
described what they found so wanting.
Oh, they described what it was, and they were right. I mean, I'm not going
Yeah.
to argue. They
Yeah.
were correct. They
Yeah,
were
that's
correct.
why we can't really argue with them because they hit the nail right
Well,
on the
good.
head.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So, like in a constructive way that you guys can use and
We
look
haven't
at.
changed at all. In fact, we
Yeah,
might
no,
have
I think we
You
kind
started
of
didn't
to.
lean
double
into it.
double down
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
So,
that's
wow.
that's
that's how we
that's
roll.
that is that's
Yeah,
exactly how we roll, Adam.
I know.
You said something that reminded me of another topic we were hoping to broach with you, if that's
Yeah.
all right.
Right.
Going back to Bill Cosby,
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we had some questions about wardrobe on just shows in general,
Huh.
but we're wondering, like on the Cosby Show, for instance, was it Bill's idea to wear the sweaters, and did he pay for them?
That's a good question. And I have to say that the Cosby Show, the NBC Cosby Show of the 80s, was not the CBS Cosby, obviously, that I worked on in the 90s, which
Okay.
was, I think, virtually sweater free. A
Sweater
lot of
free,
people,
was that a condition that you had in taking the
no,
job?
there was nothing that we could request that would have made a difference to Bill Cosby in terms of, including like, would you say the lines? Like from that on down, there we had zero impact on what he wanted to do. So
Okay.
yeah, we really did take the scripts as one big suggestion until actually at some point he just was working off of cue cards. So I guess those did
Huh.
get kind of read just so that like the show would get filmed. But
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, I mean, I think that when it's a case of like fashion stuff that ends up like serious fashion stuff, I think yeah, that's all like arranged. Either they, because they're giving like free plugs, right, to whoever, a Gucci bag or something, and so um, it is considered product placement, and so that is all
Hmm.
arranged, that kind of thing. But when we put a Gap pair of pants on somebody, I don't think that it's just it is, and I think unless it's really noticeable or we have to make a special effort to get a particular product, which would include,
Hmm.
I would imagine, a specific like logoed shirt, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
You,
And
you
so, like
mean
on Murphy Brown, that's a show where I sort of would be aware of what people are dressed, how they're dressed. Would it be similar there, like designer stuff you would
Yeah,
kind of get?
it's funny. I think that we had a great. I'm thinking actually now of the costume person on Wings, Audrey Bansmer, who's just a lovely woman, and I think she mostly shopped at like Nordstrom's and May Company and whatnot,
Mhm.
for those guys. And I don't think there was ever any issue about compensation or anything else. Just if it looked good. Occasionally, people would want to know where a particular outfit or something came from. And if they asked me, I would ask her, like, where
Uh-huh.
she shirt or something if they liked something. Pretty rarely though.
Uh-huh.
It's
Excuse
kind of
me.
funny that hasn't really been monetized. I think there was a talk years back that, and maybe it did happen. I don't know that, for example, like on Friends, you'd be able to like click on it so you could see where Chandler got that shirt or
Mhm.
whatever. Because
Oh,
obviously, that's great free advertising for whoever
Mhm.
makes whatever he was wearing. But yeah, I don't know too much about that.
we had a very helpful viewer. We talk frequently about the outfits, and our a viewer pointed out that there's a website called Worn on TV
Oh yeah,
where
right. That's right. I know that where you can like
yeah,
specifically, yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna get Shelby. There's a particular ball gown sort of ensemble that I think she's gonna rock it, and she expressed how much she liked
Wow.
it. So I'm
Yeah.
saving
Well,
up to
I
buy
would
that.
imagine they probably only cover good and/or popular shows, and Cosby would not have qualified for either of those, the one that I was on. So probably, I don't know that anybody even before, all of his troubles was that interested in wearing what Bill was wearing, but who knows? Maybe
Yeah,
it
those
was.
sweaters were
The
Oh, the
sweaters,
distracting.
sweaters, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know there's many articles to be found, I believe, on Bill's sweaters, right along with, all of the rape victims and such. Yeah.
Yeah.
60 of those ladies. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, we brought that up because we were a little surprised when we looked at the website, Worn on TV, how expensive some of the clothing was that people were wearing on General Hospital. Because sometimes it seems like that show operates with a very small budget. And
Mm.
we were just wondering how could they afford these nice clothes, and maybe they should have thrown a little more money into like the
Well,
props and stuff.
they're maybe picking them up and returning them for all we know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
who knows?
Hmm.
mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What else have you watched recently that you felt you should force other people to watch?
Yeah, right, right, right. Well, you'll be happy to know no other horror movies, no other
Okay.
Godzilla or similar monster creatures. But I got it, and I saw it months ago, but I did see it twice because I liked it so much. Jury Duty, you really got to watch it.
Yeah. Okay.
So put it on your list, put that way up there.
Yep.
You will enjoy it.
Okay.
Um, and rewatched Bad Sisters on Apple TV,
Hmm.
which I thought was great. Have you seen that or heard of it? Do you know anything about it?
I started it and I did like it. It's one of those shows, kind of like Desperate Housewives, I think, where every episode, like the bad shit starts to compound, and
You say that.
like
You mean like in terms of the anxiety you feel watching the characters like go through this?
kind of like all their bad decisions start to multiply, and the
Yeah,
consequences become more, it's just I'm not that good at handling that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Well,
But
then not the show for you. All of the shows I have watched recently, I think, would probably up your natural anxiety to beyond the borderline. Watched, I thought it was good, but I mean, not a,
Hmm.
I don't know that it's going to get many awards, but Sofia Vergara as Griselda, this woman who is the coke drug lord,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's
Hmm.
very good at that, and I thought that was pretty entertaining.
Hmm.
Uh, Obviously, I saw Bratz. What are some other movies? Oh gosh, I'm saving this Remembering Gene Wilder movie, which is now on Netflix, and that looks good. Looking forward to seeing that. But
Hmm.
in terms of other movies and TV shows, gosh,
I'm out of
oh
it. I'm
well, you
still
know what? I love Hacks. Have you guys watched
Yeah.
Hacks? HBO.
Not yet. No, that's been getting such rave reviews. Yeah, I
Oh,
gotta
in the reviews, but I just think
all
it's
across the board. Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
wonderful. And Hannah Einbinder, who's this lead opposite Gene Smart, I guess, has a comedy special, which I'm looking forward to seeing. I
Uh-huh.
think that's out this week. But I thought Hacks was wonderful, and so I
Uh-huh.
would really highly recommend that. Um, Gosh, that's sort of what's immediately coming to mind.
Uh-huh. Gia tends to prefer an older series, right, Gia? But you've seen some newer stuff on Hulu that you
Um,
liked.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm still watching L.A. Law and Kojak, but
Yeah.
but no, I watched a couple seasons of Fargo, which we enjoyed. I think.
Mhm.
Oh, Fargo. Yeah, it's been a little while. Yes, yes. I guess we probably watched that last season. It's whatever it was, 6 months ago. I thought it was
Mhm.
excellent. I think that was
Yeah.
maybe almost the best season, perhaps. I thought
Yeah.
even, and I thought the ending, the finale episode, the second half. You know what I'm talking about? The scene
Yeah.
home where they cook
Mhm.
and it's the biscuits.
Yeah.
I thought that was a beautiful one act play.
Yeah.
It literally could have existed as a one act. It was so well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Threat that's hanging over them, and I'm
Mhm.
not a cook, but I do know that a good meal, a good biscuit, can make you believe in love.
Yeah.
So, I'm
Uh-huh.
born for chocolate, and I really do I get that. And
Mhm.
talk to somebody who could eat a turkey sandwich every day for lunch and never need anything else. I could
Yeah,
really,
I'm one of those eat the same thing every day people.
yeah, and yet, I know what a special meal is. So anyway,
Yeah.
no, I thought thanks for bringing that up because I do think that was great.
Yeah. And Gia, also you loved Reservation Dogs,
Oh,
right?
yeah, Reservation Dogs. It's been
Oh,
a while
I
now,
haven't
but
seen
yeah, I
Fargo.
thought that was great. I thought it was great.
Did
Mhm.
not know
Yeah, that's another one that's been sort of underappreciated but gets nothing but rave reviews.
It was sweet and funny, and I thought it was going to be one thing, and it totally wasn't, and yeah, and I know it's a shame that because I said I liked it, and that you should watch it, that you have never watched it. But so Adam, you don't know how special it is that she watched that Godzilla movie, because I recommend it. She's so oppositional to me that anything I recommend, books, music, whatever, it's like kiss of death. So
that. Hmm.
I know, yeah.
It's
But
still it's on my list of shows to watch in my phone, so don't worry, I haven't forgotten it.
yeah,
I
I
watched
haven't.
I watched the first episode and I did like it.
Hmm.
Fargo's probably the newest series we've. I haven't. I need to catch up on Will Trent. I do enjoy Will Trent.
Yeah, I like Will Trent too. Of
But other
newer.
than that,
Do you have something to say about that, Adam? Yeah.
Well, I interviewed on that show, and it
uh,
didn't really get the job. So I
uh,
probably not be watching more Will Trent. Although I did like what I saw. I did prepare
uh-huh.
for that interview, and they were very nice people. Liz Heldens and her partner. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
uh,
Yeah, you would have been a good person for that show. It's a
oh,
good blend
so
of
thank you. They
yeah.
went, as they say, they went a different direction.
Hmm.
So it's all
oh
right.
Yeah.
yeah, we've gotten
It's
that
all
letter.
right.
Move forward with a different candidate.
Yeah, that's too
Thank you for
polite.
your interest, and yeah.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Well,
Mhm.
that's too bad. But Bill,
Yeah.
maybe
Uh,
someday. But
maybe someday.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have any other recommendations because I'm so far behind on everything, and still thinking about Ricky Lee Jones, and that keeps me from doing other stuff. And
She read a
watching stuff
Ricky Lee Jones book, so she's
that you gave
lost
me.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me we also wanted to talk maybe a little bit about we have this idea that and this was born out of Gia's attempt to force her father to listen to a James Taylor song
Oh, right, yeah, yeah,
as
yeah,
he was dying, right?
Ooh,
Is that in
yeah,
a
yeah.
nutshell?
what was
Yeah.
the
So
song?
not to sound flippant or anything, but
Right, right.
soap operas have a lot of death scenes and going on, and they recently had a character that we came to like a great deal pass away, and he and his son had this perfect evening together where they got all
Hmm.
their feelings out and said everything they needed to say, And my experience with my father was like I was trying to play him poignant James Taylor, to like have sort of a soundtrack and trying to say things, and he was out of it, and he was saying things to me like, "You are the most obstreperous woman I have ever met,"
Poor
calling me
Gia.
different names. It did not go. It was not like a movie or TV. And
Yeah,
and
the
so we
truth.
we launched an idea of like you should probably let people know what music you want when you are on your deathbed so that they don't play like nonstop Indigo Girls or something.
Oh God.
For me, I'm sure it will be no disco. I can set
No
that bar.
disco.
No
Okay.
disco.
I
Huh,
don't need
okay.
to hear. Bee Gees were okay, but I just don't
Yeah, I
need.
was gonna say a little bit of the Bee Gees, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't need to hear "It's Raining Men" as I
No,
consider it
no, it's
eternity.
okay.
Um, but yeah, no, that's heavy. That's heavy.
Well,
Yeah. It was typical of my father and I. We were just kind of like, he would have thought it was funny. If he'd been aware of it, he would have thought it was funny. I'm like, but Dad, listen. But anyway, so Keisha, did you come up with what you would like? Because I could be the one there, and you don't want me to.
I know I don't
Maybe
want you to mess
like
with me when I'm dying.
George Thorogood.
Ugh.
And
Well, I have like two playlists on Spotify that are like one is Moody White People and then the other is Black Love Music, and I like both of those equally, but they
okay,
they don't overlap too much. So yeah, I'm not sure which one I'd want. I was thinking as I'm dying, I guess I want something that would help me relax, right? And just sort of release,
That's
right?
true.
sure.
I wouldn't want to get revved up, really. I don't
Get
think.
riled up. I don't know. I'm thinking
And,
Steely Dan.
yeah.
Well, I
A
think
little
Anything.
Michael McDonald, I like the anything with
Oh,
him in the background.
okay.
I guess that's yacht rock.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yacht
what they're
rock.
calling it
That's
now.
good.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, that's what they're calling it.
what would your death playlist be? Dying
Yeah,
playlist. I think that'd
that's
be
the
interesting.
question.
I think
It may
Yeah.
be more. It may be more important to let people know what not to play. Like
yeah, well, sure. I definitely, but flipping it on its head, I think, the positive view is, as opposed to like, I don't want to hear My Way sung by Paul Anka or whatever, but I'd love to hear, Caroline and My
Yeah.
Mom. There you go, or whatever
Mhm.
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Mhm.
You can close
Yeah.
your eyes. Is that the song that you wanted your dad to listen to? No. Did
What
you?
was the James Taylor song?
I was trying to play pretty much all of Sweet Baby James, but
Yeah. That was one of my first albums that I ever had.
yeah, we
Sure.
had it on 8 track, and I thought it might just put him in a good place, like
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
Wow.
whatever. He didn't. I switched it to Mel Torme, and that didn't do any better, really. So,
Mm. Mm.
and sadly, I've been trying to shop around. I ended up with his CD collection, and I like tearfully pulled out a few stacks of things I wanted to keep, and then took it to the used record store, and they wanted exactly zero. Um,
Oh.
I was like,
Oh.
seriously, none of it. So I don't know. I'm thinking I might. I don't want to just Salvation Army it. I might take it to like an assisted living or something, because I'm
Yeah.
thinking that age group that might be. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't
Are they
know. Or
CDs? Did you say they were CDs? Yeah, if
CDs.
they've
Yeah,
got a boom box, yeah, sure. I would think they'd enjoy that.
I could just single the house with them. I don't know.
True, there's all
Anyway,
kinds of
so like
things.
now I'm bringing us down on that topic. So we should probably end on a more up note. That's a thought.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
All right, well then this question. Would you play different or want different music played at your memorial service than you had playing while you were dying?
yeah. Don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I think I haven't given any thought today, or recently, really. To me, that sort of begs the question: do you want one of those celebration memorials where
Right.
it's like New Orleans style kind of
Yeah,
thing,
that's what I was just thinking. You want New
or
Orleans.
do
Yeah.
you want to like people to be weeping,
Mm,
like
yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
to realize just how much you meant to
Uh,
them and how much they're going to miss you and all of that. So I
I've got
mean,
no illusions about that. I think I would just like to maybe turn them on to some music they hadn't heard.
that's an interesting idea. I mean, that's like a that could be the aim. But but yeah, I mean, I think I'd really have to decide, what the overall tone that I was going for in the
Yeah.
music. Uh,
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Well, we'll let you think about that then. You don't have
well,
to give us an answer today.
I would like to say I have plenty of time to think about that, but you never know.
You
Maybe
never do.
on
You
that,
never
right?
do. Yeah. Yeah.
60. Oof.
Yeah, I would want Drunken Revelry. Nothing
Drunken
more.
revelry.
Yeah,
Okay.
good time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Jeez,
Yeah. I asked one of my brothers and he said, easy, you too, for both dying and
Yeah,
the party.
all right.
tell me that wasn't Johnny. Was it Johnny?
No, it wasn't Johnny. Yeah, Johnny would be tricky. He doesn't like too many artists really.
Mm.
But this was Charlie. This was Charlie, big U2 fan. But he wants Bono in person, so I'd have to make some calls.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, well, you
but
guys, enjoyable hour, not quite, but almost. And I'll think about the memorial. And
if we could leave
uh,
you with anything, we would like you to be more aware of the fact that we're all going to die someday.
yeah, I think I'd want to I don't think I would just want to do it like a Spotify, like James Taylor station, because God knows
Yeah,
what pop up. I think I'd really want to be very specific. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Would you
Uh,
trust anybody else with that task?
um, only somebody who really knew me, I suppose, and there aren't that too many people that would probably
Mm-hmm.
qualify, for
Mm-hmm.
that. But I would say it's probably not the time to be trying like new music, although like
Mm-hmm.
new world music that could, I think you'd really want to go back to the tried and true, right?
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
so
Mm-hmm. Okay.
anyway, it'll be very much on my mind.
You're welcome.
All
Okay. Well,
right,
it's
we
great
like
'cause,
bringing
I
everybody
mean, I think
down.
about death a lot, death and mortality a lot, but I'd not thought about this specific wrinkle, this
Hmm.
specific
The
element of
soundtrack.
it. It's
Yeah,
complete. I mean,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
can't even believe that I missed it, given how much
yeah.
I think about it. That like,
Yeah.
what I would want to hear as I am dying.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of an opportunity, really.
yeah, you want to make the most of it because it's one
Hmm.
of the last opportunities one will have. One would imagine, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, make the most of it.
Yeah.
Uh, Final meals too, all that stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
well,
Well, yeah. That's a tough
you
one.
know, anyway. All right. Well, and on that, I don't know why we keep going to that very dark place. I mean, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, we did. So
Let's
anyway.
we can close with the image of you trapped in under your refrigerator fridge.
yeah.
Oh my
Like
God.
was that like Homer that wouldn't let go of the donut?
Oh,
It's kind of like Winnie the Pooh, yeah. But you didn't have a donut under the fridge, did
no,
you?
pretty good analogy, but I gotta say, like from the moment that I actually freed myself, I did think like, all right, well, I will not forget this. This is gonna be a story a minute from now, and I guess it is. So there it is. All right,
Yeah.
you guys. Well, good luck.
All
Stay
right.
cool.
Well,
Keep
it
the
was nice
lights
Yeah.
on.
talking with you
Keep the
again. Thank you
electricity
very
flowing
much.
for as long as
Yes.
possible. All right, we'll see you soon. All right.
Okay. Thanks,
Okay, bye,
Adam.
Amanda. Bye,
Take
everybody.
care.
Bye,
Bye.
Keith.
Bye.